Leonidas of Sparta, a name that stands for courage, resilience, and sacrifice. But before he became king, Leonidas was a boy shaped by the same challenges and discipline demanded of every Spartan male. Born in the late 6th century BCE, Leonidas was the younger son of King Anaxandridas II. His path to greatness was neither easy nor guaranteed. In Sparta, a warrior's worth was measured not by birthright, but by their dedication and strength. Even a prince like Leonidas had to earn his place. His story begins with the traditions and trials of the Spartan Agoge, where boys became men and leaders were forged. Leonidas was born into a society shaped by the laws of Lycurgus, the legendary lawgiver of Sparta. It is debated whether Lycurgus was a historical figure or a symbolic figurehead. Despite this, his influence was undeniable. Spartan society prized equality among its citizens, simplicity in living, and unwavering discipline. Even the kings were expected to embody these principles, eating the same black broth in communal dining halls as their fellow Spartans. Leonidas grew up surrounded by these ideals. From an early age, he was immersed in a culture that valued service to the state above all else. Despite his royal lineage, he was treated like any other Spartan boy when he entered the Agoge, a rigorous training program designed to prepare boys for a life of duty and war. At just 7 years old, Leonidas left the comforts of his family home to begin the Agoge. Like every other boy, he was stripped of privilege and placed in a communal barracks where Spartan discipline ruled. He wore a single cloak, slept on a bed of reeds, and endured cold, hunger, and hardship without complaint. For Leonidas, the Agoge was not just a training ground, but a proving ground. Boys were deliberately pushed to their limits, given sparse meals, and encouraged to steal food to survive. However, failure to avoid detection was punished, not for the act itself, but for the lack of skill and cunning. These experiences would teach Leonidas self-reliance, cleverness, and resilience, qualities that would define his leadership later in life. In the Agoge, Leonidas learned that Spartan strength came from unity. While physical toughness was essential, the program emphasized cooperation and teamwork. Rivalries among the boys were replaced with bonds of brotherhood as they learned to fight, strategize, and depend on one another in all aspects of life. Even as a prince, Leonidas was no exception to these lessons. He would have fought, trained, and endured alongside his peers, developing the mutual trust that Spartan warriors relied upon in battle. This sense of brotherhood became a cornerstone of Leonidas's identity, one he carried into his leadership as king. For some boys, completing the Agoge was not the end of their training. The best and most cunning were selected for the Crypteia. The Crypteia was a secretive group in Spartan society, made up of select young men who had excelled in their training. Their role was to help maintain control over the Helots, a large enslaved population that worked the land and supported Sparta's economy. The Helots were the indigenous peoples of regions subjugated by Sparta during its conquests, and they vastly outnumbered the Spartan citizenry. While Sparta championed ideals of equality among its own citizens, this principle starkly excluded the Helots, who were forced into servitude. Their oppression was a deliberate strategy to enable Spartan citizens to devote themselves entirely to the art of warfare, unburdened by agricultural or menial labor. This imbalance made them a constant source of concern for rebellion. To keep them in check, the Crypteia operated discreetly, using intimidation, surveillance, and, in some cases, violence to discourage resistance. While this system ensured the Spartans could focus on their military lifestyle, it also reflected the strict and often harsh measures that upheld their way of life. Though there is no evidence that Leonidas joined the Crypteia, its principles reflected the core values of Spartan society: discipline, cunning, and loyalty to the state. This secretive institution also revealed the darker side of Spartan life, where dominance was maintained through subjugation. For Leonidas, these realities would shape his understanding of the sacrifices required to preserve Sparta's way of life. After completing the Agoge, Leonidas returned to Spartan society as a full citizen. known as a homoios, or equal. However, his life would take an unexpected turn when his half-brother, King Cleomenes I, died under mysterious circumstances. With no direct heir, Leonidas ascended the throne around 490 BCE. As king, Leonidas set an inspiring example, embodying the ideals of discipline, humility, and unwavering duty that had shaped him from a young age. He embraced a modest lifestyle, abiding by the same rules and customs as his fellow Spartans. Yet, his leadership was about to face a challenge of unimaginable scale, one that would define his legacy for centuries to come. In 480 BCE, the Persian king Xerxes launched a massive invasion of Greece, determined to expand his empire. With thousands of ships and soldiers, the Persian army posed an existential threat to the Greek city-states. Sparta, known for its military prowess, was called upon to lead the defense. Leonidas took command of the land forces tasked with defending Thermopylae, a narrow pass that was key to protecting central Greece. He famously selected just 300 Spartan warriors for the mission, men with living sons who could continue their family lines. These 300 were joined by a coalition of Greek allies, numbering around 7,000 in total, to face an army that may have been as large as 100,000. For 3 days, Leonidas and his small force held the pass at Thermopylae, using the narrow terrain to neutralize the Persians' numerical advantage. Leonidas fought alongside his men, embodying the Spartan ideal of a leader who shares the burdens of his soldiers. On the third day, a Greek traitor named Ephialtes revealed a hidden mountain path to the Persians, allowing them to outflank the defenders. Realizing that their position was hopeless, Leonidas ordered most of the Greek forces to retreat. However, he chose to stay behind with his 300 Spartans, along with approximately 700 Thespians, led by Demophilus, who volunteered to fight to the death. A contingent of around 400 Thebans also remained, though their presence was marked by divided loyalties. Together, these warriors faced the overwhelming Persian forces in a final act of defiance that would immortalize their sacrifice and inspire future Greek resistance. Leonidas and his men fought to the last, their courage and sacrifice ensuring their names would be remembered for generations. While the Battle of Thermopylae was a tactical loss, it became a rallying cry for the Greek city-states, inspiring them to unite against the Persian threat. Leonidas's leadership and sacrifice embodied the highest ideals of Spartan society: discipline, duty, and unity. His story reminds us that true greatness lies not in victory, but in the courage to stand firm for what you believe in, even in the face of impossible odds. Thank you for exploring the epic story of the Spartan Agoge and the rise of King Leonidas, a journey defined by discipline, resilience, and unity. If this tale of courage and perseverance moved you, show your support by liking this video and sharing it with friends who appreciate the powerful lessons history has to offer. Want more unforgettable stories from the past that echo in today's world? Hit subscribe and tap the notification bell to join our community of history enthusiasts. You'll never miss an episode packed with insights to inspire your own path forward. Until we meet again, stay curious, stay bold, and remember, the legacies we honor today shape the ones we leave behind tomorrow.